do the countdown, but I'm not. So hello, everybody.
Hey, 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 hey. Hey,
Hey,
Cheryl.
hey,
Hey,
hey.
Sandy. Hey, Donna
And it's
Marie.
already December down in New Zealand,
Yeah,
everyone.
I'm a month ahead. Friday. Anyway.
Oh, and it's almost summer in New Zealand.
Yes. Yay, bring it on. I love it.
Yay.
People can
Absolutely.
come out of hibernation and we do barbecues. It's so light. Like 5:30 in the morning, it's bright. 5.
Yes.
And then it
Yes.
stays light until 9 o'clock at night. And our
Yes.
longest day of the year is to 21st December. So it's
December.
like we
Yeah.
get really long days in summer. And my favorite time of day is that
Uh-huh.
twilight, that bluey kind of misty
Mhm. Yes.
at in the evening. Oh, I love it. And the
Yes.
green take on a different hue, and
They
it's
do.
beautiful to be
And
alive.
sometimes you get the oranges and the golds in there,
Yes.
with the
Yeah.
sun going down. Wow,
Oh,
that's awesome.
absolutely. It's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good, Anna. I'm glad you had a great Thanksgiving. Yeah, happy belated Thanksgiving, everybody.
Oh,
We actually
yes.
celebrated it here with my
Did
family.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was on the Friday because it's your Thursday, so that's good. So I
Right.
made a chicken roast because frozen turkeys are
Yeah.
super expensive here. They're like
Uh-huh.
$100.
Yep.
Okay, it's
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
And then I made a really light pumpkin dessert. It's called pumpkin chiffon. It's got a cheesecake base, and then you fold like a vanilla pudding in with pumpkin. So we don't even
Uh-huh.
have canned pumpkin here. So I have to do everything from
That's
scratch.
what
So
I heard. And they don't
yeah,
have it in
so
the UK either, I heard.
no,
They
so you
don't.
buy the
Yeah.
eating pumpkins. The flesh is really super thick on those things, and then you
Right.
just boil it down, mash it up like mashed potatoes, drain it if you can because it's
Right.
really
Like a
watery.
squash. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you just use that, and it's fresh and it's bright orange. It's beautiful, and then nutmeg and cinnamon. But it's light and it's refrigerated, so it's really
Yeah.
nice in the heat and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
humidity. So
Well,
anyway,
that's cool. So your
hey
kids know
Carl.
the tradition. They know the
Yes,
tradition of what it is.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Hmm.
that's
Yep.
just beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
So
Yeah.
let's welcome Sandy Miller's here and Donna Marie and Cheryl Simpson's here and UK Carl is here and Anna Greenidge is here. Welcome everybody. And it's so wonderful to be here with you all. Dr. Ann and I really enjoy working together, but
Yes.
sometimes
Yes,
oh,
we
you're
do.
thank you, Carl. Hi, Samantha. It's nice to see all of you. So I don't know. I did what I could on my computer, and I'm knocking on wood that everything. Can you all see me today? Am I fairly
I
clear?
can see you.
I
I
know
think you
you
look
can.
great.
Yeah, but oh my God, I looked at the one I had with Marina, and most of the time I'm just drinking my coffee.
Oh, like this? I saw that and I'm like, oh, but everybody heard you, so it was fine.
It
You
was
just got to
fine.
go with it.
That
Yeah.
was well, they do. They're very, very good about that. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Mm.
so yes, Ann and I just kind of come on and chat about whatever comes up. I did pull some cards that I just
Oh,
got. I just like
nice.
for fun, and they're soul coach cards by Denise
Oh,
Lynn.
neat.
And
I
I
love it.
love they're very pretty. I belong to that Hay House book club. I'm sorry, card club that they do that.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
good.
neat. That's a good
Yeah.
idea, actually. I need to
Uh-huh.
do that. I left all mine downstairs, and many of you may or may not know we're in kind of upheaval with
Oh yeah.
house under construction. So
Yeah. It's okay.
everything's in weird places in my house. So
No
I'm not
problem. No
organized.
problem. No, and
But
you don't really need them. Thanks
yeah,
everybody for letting me know you can see us. So, but look at this one.
yeah.
It's beginnings, and I wish
Ooh,
my camera. If somebody else had this up, it's brighter. It's because it's really bright in my real
beautiful.
world, but I don't have the best. Yeah, but look at this is a new beginnings, and
Love that.
keeping our fingers crossed. And for sure, we have what another month until 2025. And so I'm feeling
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I
Ah,
know, Ann. I know, I know.
where
Uh,
did that go?
it's so funny. There was something, I'm going to be 70 in 2025, in September though. But it said, I would rather be 20 in the 70s than 70 in the 20s.
Yep, fair enough.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yep.
That's what I
That's a really
was.
good
Yeah.
observation.
That's a good observation.
Mm, yeah,
So
that's a really
yes,
good observation.
living in simplicity, but I love the cairns,
Yeah,
Cairns. They're meant to show us the way. And so
yeah.
perhaps our beginnings need to be very, very simple. Just
Mm,
enjoy your family, enjoy the food you eat, enjoy the sunshine when or the light
Yeah.
out at night. Yeah. Look at this one, Voyage.
Oh, wow. That's
Oh,
me. That's me on the boat coming over to you.
there you go. There you go. There you go. I love that. That's so
Awesome.
great.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I know. Also,
Oh,
Kathy 11, it's snowing in Pennsylvania. All right.
wow.
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
gosh. I hope you're
I
nice
know.
and warm and bundled up. Yeah.
I hope so too. I
Yeah.
know that Diana's in Michigan, and it's just it's like a blizzard there.
Oh
And
my gosh.
of course, you know well about Buffalo, New York, and how much
Yes.
snow
Yes.
they
So
get.
they get.
So apparently, the Buffalo Bills asked everybody to come out and help move the snow so they could have a game because it was like 20 feet and or something.
Wow.
Yeah, with the blow. That would be fun to watch. Big
That'd be
party.
really fun to watch.
It
My
would.
goodness. Hey, Tea
Yeah.
Garden Chicken. Nice to see you. Hey, Mary
Yeah.
Thornberry. Oh my gosh.
Yes, hi, Tea
I'm so
Garden.
excited to
And
see
then
everybody. This is so
it is
great.
nice to see
Yay.
you. Yeah.
I just have to say, I really miss you, Allie, and I really
I
miss the
know.
community. And I just haven't had, we're coordinating. I'm in New Zealand, if some of you folks don't know. So coordinating with Allie and time zones and all that good sort of stuff is just, and life events. It's been a lot of
Yeah.
life events this year. So when we
Yes.
do gather and come together, it's just
We're
so much
happy.
fun.
That's right.
Yeah. It's like we're old friends. It's like, oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
we can
That's
talk
right.
forever. Great.
Dr. Ann has gone through an awful lot with her with her illness and her family and some of her own
Yeah.
personal issues. And
Yeah.
so I want to send much love to you and her mom.
Thank you.
Her mom's not
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah. I really am
Yeah.
well.
Much love.
70
We do.
degrees
We
in
need it.
central Oklahoma. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah, I
gosh.
know. Isn't that great? I mean, it is and it isn't, I guess.
Yeah. That's scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
it must snow in Oklahoma. Does it snow there? Or is
Well,
it just more rainy
it's
kind of
above
sometimes?
Texas, and
Okay, so
I'm
it
not
could
real
get snow.
sure. I've been
That'd
to
be good to
Oklahoma,
know.
but
Mm,
it's 14 degrees in it's Minnesota, right? Not
Minnesota.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Minnesota.
Um,
Hey, Donna Marie.
oh, you had a glitch or I had a glitch. I hope it was
Yeah,
you.
did I have one? Maybe it's me. I don't know.
No, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Nope.
Talk
Hi,
about
Wayne Rich.
glitches. Hey,
Yeah.
guys.
Hey,
Bookie
Book.
Witch. Hi. Hi. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Hey.
Oh, you did
Love
it.
seeing
Okay.
everybody.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see
Did you
everybody.
hear about what happened in the talking about glitches? The internet cables were cut a few weeks ago between somewhere and somewhere, and they
Russia, I think it was Russia
it was
and
Finland.
Norway.
Yeah,
Finland?
somewhere up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So they've
There's a
had
lot going
serious
on.
glitches.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot.
we gotta get NATO in there and see what we can
Yeah.
do about all this crap.
Well,
Because
NATO's North Atlantic Treaty Organization, right? So obviously New
Right.
Zealand's not in it, but
Right.
we're involved with like Australia and the Five Eyes. Do you guys know about Five Eyes?
Yes.
Okay.
But tell
So,
people about the Five Eyes because I bet they
yeah.
don't really know. I didn't.
Well, it's not a creature with 5 eyes. Sorry, bad joke.
It's all right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make a joke. But what it is New Zealand, Australia, Canada, the UK, and the United States. Think about where they are geographically. We all are part of a interconnected satellite system network that I'm sure looks, listens, does stuff. We don't know, but we're all in this alliance that way. So satellite.
Yeah.
So we just keep an eye on things. Five Eyes, yes.
Well, absolutely. And there's a 5 eyes, and I think there's like a 12 eyes or a 9, something like that. There's like a lot of different bigger ones, actually.
Yeah, there would be more, and they have so many detection systems stateside. I mean, I remember there was one that was there was a place in Florida and then a place in Northern California, which is outside of my hometown, Mobile Air Force Base. It was called PAVE Pause. Weird name, acronym for something, but it was microwave radiation. So they were able with these two stations because you can control. It's not like a moving kind of radar thing. They can control the beam to cover certain areas of the world to see if things were incoming, right?
Right.
Incoming things.
Yep.
So that was in the 70s and the 80s, I think. And then I think satellites took over after that.
They did.
So.
They did.
Yeah.
And now there's a documentary, and I don't know if you can get it down there. I think it's on HBO,
Oh,
and
cool.
it's called Surveilled with Ronan
Mm.
Farron, and he's
Ah,
Farrow. I'm
right there.
sorry, Mia
Oh, son.
Farrow's son,
Yeah.
and actually he looks like a blonde Frank Sinatra. So you have to
Does
wonder.
he?
He doesn't look like
Yeah.
Woody Allen. I'm going to say that he does not.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, but he's
Okay.
very handsome. I believe he's a gay man, and but he's smart. I think he went to a good college. He's a good journalist. He's really good. Well, anyway, there's some kind of a software program out there that they're able to surveil anybody they want all over the world.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
scary.
it's very creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot more things
Yeah.
going on than we
There
realize.
are. Yeah. That's why I'd like
yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
why
want
we
them
have
to-
each other to uplift each other and not worry about that stuff because, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yep. Nope. I
I'm not
get
going
it.
to make an impact on anything. I don't think you are. I mean,
I
we
know.
make our impact by teaching and by being educators and by gathering with a beautiful community
As
like
long
this
as
and
we
talking about
continue to have a
spiritual.
Department of Education, it will be wonderful.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Oh my gosh, don't
Yeah.
get me started on artificial
I know.
intelligence.
I
I've
know.
been researching way more on that, and there's a lot more than, oh my gosh, it's just insane.
Okay, so you're
Hey,
not
it's
as enamored with it? Were you not as enamored with it as you used
no,
to be?
I never was. I just realize and acknowledge it's there. We're gonna have to use it. It's gonna be pervasive
Yeah.
in jobs.
Right.
So I use it in my job daily in different AI tools all the time for ideation or idea creation, right? So I really enjoy using it. It really helps a lot. It's like I can put stuff in there for clarity. Can you summarize this paragraph? What's the key? What's the
Sure.
saying? You
Sure.
can say, hey, can you do this? But you gotta approach it very what's the word, with a real good, clear, critical thinking mind, right?
And most people don't have that, Ann. Yeah.
No, they
So
don't
I
have the
know that,
critical lens.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's really scary. I was
yeah.
wondering, and I was just saying to Marina last night that
Mhm.
the former guy was sitting down at his beautiful spot, and supposedly on Thanksgiving, sitting next to Elon. And I wondered if that they were doing their little dance to the YMCA, and I'm thinking that could be AI. That could be.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be most of the stuff on Instagram. A lot of the books out in Amazon are AI generated, but they have a subject matter expert or SME, they call it in my trade.
Yep.
Casting an eye over it to make sure it's correct information and content being conveyed.
Right.
So,
Right.
if it's nonfiction, if it's fiction, you can create fiction books. But look, it's about entertainment. I mean, and that's why the
Yeah.
whole entertainment industry was up in arms because
Mhm.
it's like copyright infringement, really.
I know. Yeah. And we went
So-
through that actually when my son was in college, which would have been 2005 to 2007. And the Napster thing was going on where
Yes,
kids
I
were down.
remember.
Yeah, remember that? It's
Yep.
like there's always somebody there to take advantage or to take money away from creative folks.
Mhm.
It's just
Yeah.
it's so sad that there's one industry that's it's all clickbait. Hi, Nalani. It's nice to see you.
Even
And I don't
in
I don't
Facebook, it's clickbait.
well, it is. And I actually I deleted my account, and then I go into my email and they're like, so and so said this on your Facebook. So I don't know what happened.
They keep your data and even stuff that you unsend or delete, they actually have a record of it, right?
And
There was
they keep posting to it.
Yeah.
It's like posting
Yeah,
pictures of myself. Yeah. I don't know.
it's just stupid because
Yeah.
people can lift and I mean, if you have a high profile like Sterling and Linda G and all those guys,
Right.
people lift and shift their images and put them into fake accounts, try to get
Right,
people to
right,
come in
okay.
it. And
Yeah.
to me, that really takes advantage of the vulnerable people who really don't
Yeah.
understand and can discern. And I
Yeah.
think, it behooves me for it behooves all the social media companies to work
Mhm.
within some kind of ethical standards and guided standards. Because,
Yeah.
like, for example, they call it the Christchurch call that in New Zealand with France and all those higher ups were saying. Because remember, I don't know if you guys remember hearing about that terrorist attack that happened
Yes.
in
Yes.
Christchurch.
Yes.
Well, that was live on Facebook.
Oh my. I
Yeah,
had no
my
idea.
sister
Okay.
teaching stateside while she was still teaching, one of her students came up to her and said, "Mrs. X, what's going on here? What's happening?" It was alive, and it was showing the whole event. So
Wow.
Jacinda Ardern, who is the
Yes.
Prime
Yes.
Minister of New Zealand at
At
the
the
time,
time.
created a call. But now that the world's in such a squirrely state, I think that that's been muted and tabled because
Of course it
there's other
has.
stuff
Of course
happening,
it has.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Ethics and social media, oxymoron. You got that right, hypnicity.
Yeah.
Total oxymoron.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
there is a post here from Cheryl saying, should have
Mhm.
Canada pulled out of Syria, we did take a lot of people from Syria over the years. So glad we did because they suffered
Uh,
so much as well as
yeah.
Gaza and Lebanon. Yeah.
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 And it's just
Definitely.
awful. I
Yeah.
think the whole world is kind of on the move in different places, from different places.
It
Like,
is.
there's just a
Yes.
lot of like discomfort worldwide. People are not.
Worldwide. Yep. Yep. I agree.
It's we
Yeah.
don't. Nations do not exist in isolation. You know,
Oh no.
we
And
have
we don't
family
either.
from everywhere. We've got. I
Yep.
mean, look at America. It's based on immigrants from everywhere, right? I mean,
Yes. Absolutely.
mostly,
Well,
and then
that's what
some
we like
indigenous
to think
people.
we do, but then
Yeah,
we have
not
people that
anymore.
don't want that, and that's not what we were built on. So I don't
Which is
understand. Yeah.
that's totally illogical, and there's
It is.
no
Yeah. It
no
really is.
thinking involved in that, critical thinking. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but everywhere, yeah,
Hmm.
yep. What's
Well,
reality anymore, Cheryl? That's up to you to discern, but don't be discouraged. Okay, I
yeah.
encourage you to think, okay, if it's this, what about this? Let's see, voice recognition now. I'm paying bills over the phone, and with all that crazy bills from Telly, I do not. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't blame
how
you,
many of
Mary.
you have Alexas? Anybody that
Yeah.
has an Alexa, it's got your imprint. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It just is what it is.
It is what it
You know?
is. It just reminds
Yeah.
me of what was it, Hal
Yeah.
in
Oh
in
yeah, Hal. And remember when he slowed down? It's Hal, and then his voice sounded like it was like, it sounded like it was
yeah.
melting, right? It
Yep,
was
it
so
did.
funny.
Yeah.
And it was scary. I remember seeing that movie and I was
Yeah.
petrified.
2001. It was the
And
name of
that
it.
was,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
70s or 80s, I don't know, but a
Yep.
few
It
decades
was.
ago.
It
Not
was.
that
It
I'm
was a frightening
decading
thing.
myself. But
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So,
Yep. Hypnicity.
yeah.
I really love
Mhm.
Zen Buddhism, and it is one of
Mhm.
those things that I have to consciously become aware and bring myself
Yeah.
back. And
Mhm.
but I agree, observing without judgment is really it's a
Yeah.
state of nirvana in a way. It's like achieving enlightenment. So
Yeah.
yeah, open the bay doors, Hal.
I can't do that. Da, 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 da.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
that's the thing. I mean, okay, so if we're gonna take this cell phone basically using, yep, that's true. And even just your locational device stuff, all they have to do is triangulate you and they'll find you, right? Unless you have to phone your
Uh-huh.
phone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
but
we
I
have
have nothing to
God
hide.
help us is here, and
Hi,
a
God help
pretty
us.
new person subscriber here. We're glad to have you, and thank you
Yay!
for also
Hello,
being here.
hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Nice to meet you.
I wanted to know if you had heard about some of the policies that and laws that were passed in Australia. I saw this the other day, and one of them was students or children, I'm sorry, under the age of 18, I believe, cannot access social
That's
media
right.
anymore.
Yep, they're
Yeah,
the first country.
they
And it's
are.
gonna fly over like a wet blanket, and I don't know how they're gonna police
Mm,
it, but you know
yeah.
what? They will do it at the server level where people can't even access stuff. So they're
Yeah.
gonna have to figure out a way. I guarantee you know how teenagers are? They will
Yeah.
figure a way around it.
They
Okay,
will.
even if it's grabbing mom or dad's device, right? So,
Okay, so it's 16. Okay, well, that
yeah,
makes
yeah, 16. Yeah,
kids start working at 16 if they, if they want
yeah,
to. So yeah,
and
yeah, that makes
and I think
sense.
that's really wise. And in New Zealand,
Mhm.
also a whole country blanket ban on phones in schools. You aren't allowed cell phone in school. So that
Oh,
started in New Zealand this year, this
that's
TT,
good.
which was January. Yeah.
Sure. So
So
the kids just leave them at
great.
home.
I think
They
it's
leave them at home.
wise.
They're not
The
allowed.
amount
Okay.
of
Yeah.
some people that really hurt themselves
Uh-huh.
because of bullying and that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's really wise. I remember early days when it was a Wild West and stuff happened to my daughter and like navigating that space, and I was just like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I look at the tech now with AI and submitting. My daughter just submitted me today because we were talking about it with friends that are visiting. She said, "Yeah, yeah, well, I had some friends that sat some exams. They call it sitting an exam, taking an
Okay.
exam.
Yeah.
Um, they had help." And I'm like, "I do not want that nurse poking my vein and missing. Thank you very much." I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god."
Yeah. Good God. When I had to take
Yeah.
exams, you weren't even allowed to go pee. You had to pee before the exam. And
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
left the room, you couldn't finish the exam because they thought you were
Yeah.
cheating. And we weren't allowed to use calculators either that we had in any kind of math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
they're totally acceptable use. It's
Uh-huh.
because there's still the okay, so this is my thing, everybody. Logic, argumentation, and reasoning are is foundational to any discipline, right? Being
Mhm.
able to learn about the thing, think about the thing, decide and discern if that thing or whatever you're doing is acceptable or not, and then arguing about it, your stance
Yeah.
about it, whatever. And I don't mean arguing in like cancel culture. I
No, I
mean
know what you mean.
taking on
Art,
different
yeah,
perspectives,
right.
about the thing that you're thinking about. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
foundational to every freaking
Everything.
discipline. Doesn't matter.
Everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have to tell my students because they have to do an argumentative research paper, choose a side, give me 3 points, claims and evidences, and then do the counter argument in the next to the last paragraph and then
Yes.
close. And
Yeah.
they don't get it. They think that I mean to fight and I said, don't use
Yeah.
I. You're supposed to be the authority on this because that's what you're trying to convince me of. Very hard to do
Yes.
because they don't ever have that in their younger classes. It's very sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this generation, I was the last generation that I didn't have a computer until I was 18. Okay.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
worked 5 summers as a lifeguard and it was super expensive. It was like
Yeah.
$5,000 back then in the 80s. And you went to the Apple store, which is the only place you could
Right.
go to. It was a big floppy disk. And I
Uh-huh.
self-taught and I used that thing and I had one of those. Remember those dot matrix printers with the little
Yes. Oh,
rollers with
yes.
holes on them that you had to separate? I would
Yeah.
take those and decorate my room with them. I was so bizarre. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm grateful
Mm.
I had those years of running around, being outside until it was dark and coming home for dinner, and you
Absolutely.
can't do that anymore because
No.
weird stuff happens to kids now if you leave them out too long or, there's a
Yeah.
lot more.
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is. It truly is.
Mhm. Yeah.
Donna Marie says no longer the debate teams. And of course,
Yeah.
even in public speaking classes that I've seen and taught, it's really difficult for people to know how to get up and present something without false claims and
Yeah.
all that other stuff. And it's just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like the movie The
Yeah.
Great Debaters. Yes. Yes, Mary, that's right. Oh, you were on the debate team? Good for
Yes, I
you.
was. I was
Good for
one of those
you.
people. I was involved in
Okay.
everything in high school.
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah. No,
yeah,
that's
I was a
awesome.
debater. Yeah, that
Okay.
was so much
Yeah.
fun. And because you learn to take a counterpoint. And it'd be like a random political topic of the year. So the
Yes.
year I remember it was about mental illness and using that defense,
Yes.
So you
Yes.
debate and you have judges, so you'd be either for or against and
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And I
Wow.
love that. It was really fascinating because I learned from that experience that learning the opposing view of your belief is really helpful in exploring your beliefs.
Absolutely. And I've seen that with
So,
students who
yeah.
they're told something by their parents and they're not thinking for themselves
Mhm,
and they're asked to delve into it. And when they're
mhm.
asked to delve into it and they find the opposing viewpoint and then they go,
Yeah.
"Oh, this really makes sense."
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes.
so
Yeah.
here's an example. I remember this, and it came to my mind the other day when I was doing whatever. When I was in high school, I had a teacher, a history teacher, talking about the U.S. Constitution and the election process, but the Electoral College. And the question we
Right.
were debating was, should we have an Electoral College or not?
We've been talking about it forever, haven't we? Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, that was in the 80s,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah,
Mhm.
you didn't hear that. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I was just really grateful. I remember being grateful that he had me think it through, and I really realized, oh, hang on, we're big
Yeah,
enough to make our own decisions.
that's
That's
right.
all I thought.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And Mary, you're
yeah,
right. We need to experience an opposing view without wanting to murder somebody. In other words, I'm really
yeah.
listening to what you're saying. I may not agree with it, but I defend your ability to say it. That's so. Leah's got a question here. As we're moving into what serves us and away from what is not our real potential. I
As
ask.
we are moving in and away from one another. I think what you're saying, are
Ooh,
we? I okay. So, oh hey, Celtic Seer. Hi, Donna Marie. Okay,
I-
how do we leave the ones who are toxic without causing further death? You know what? So toxic can mean a lot of different things.
it
Okay, just
can. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of your own health and well-being, don't engage with it. Just walk away if you can.
Yeah.
That would be my thing. But I have to say, I had to learn it the really hard way because it was a relationship, and
Yes. Well,
there is
it's all about
all these things.
boundaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And what's
Yeah.
acceptable for you or not, right? What
Correct.
do you?
Correct.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was really bad. He was abusive, so I survived that, and I'm very grateful because it taught me
It taught you.
how
Yeah.
to find my inner voice over time, but it
Yes.
also taught me how beautiful a community can be if you're honest with people and have support who are not
Yes.
your family. I mean, I didn't realize that I could really have these beautiful, deep connections with people who would support me. And that was
Uh-huh.
really a great lesson. And I think, Leah, that whatever is going on in your space, even the community like this, but even in your personal family friends, are there people who really got your back no matter what, who can help you walk
Mhm.
away from something?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
you can't just walk away and not have feelings. You're gonna have a whole tsunami of feelings coming and going when something ends. But when
Mhm.
something ends, there's always an opposite. There's a new beginning. So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
but you gotta go through that messiness to get that real appreciation of life
You do
again.
have to. And
Yeah.
there's where that first card I had was beginnings. We're always
Yeah.
beginning again.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Really. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but I did want to say that I didn't grow up, Leah, learning about boundaries. It wasn't
Mm.
something that I was taught. And then my daughter went to college to become a counselor, and she started talking about boundaries and how important it was to set boundaries, and especially with toxic people, because what we're doing is we're giving them the opportunity to be whatever it is they choose to be without having to feel bad ourselves. I guess that's the best
Yeah.
way. And so the damage that
Yeah.
could be created is mitigated by the idea that everybody came here for a different reason, and this is the lesson they chose. And so that's about all I can come up with. But I love the idea of it and how to move forward with it, because I think it's really, really hard to set those boundaries, to say,
It's
gee,
really hard.
I did it. I did it, and I hurt my girlfriend because I
Yeah.
first of all, I said, I don't want to have anything to do with your husband anymore because he voted for someone else that is against anything that's good for me or her. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it hurt
Yeah.
her, but she realized too that he said, "Oh, we can still be friends, can't we?" I wouldn't have
Yeah.
voted for her. I just would not have voted if I knew she felt that way. And I thought,
Yeah.
I don't want you to vote because of me, but I have to make that determination because of your choices, and knowing
Yeah.
what your choice was, it didn't set well with me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, any other election, I would not have cared. This one really mattered to me. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it really did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
I get
Yeah.
that. I wonder, Allie, what do you think about this? Do you think empathic people have it within them to be pleasers? Or do you think they're separate? Or do you think they're kind of bound up together? It just came
Um,
across my mind. I'm just asking. I don't know the
no, I
answer.
love the question. I really, really do.
Mm,
Because as an empath, we do want to um, offer a salve, I think, on
yeah.
people, and
Mm,
that it isn't like you have to like me, or you have to
yeah.
agree with me, or whatever it is, but it's like I don't want to ignore somebody that might need me. And is that people
That's the
pleasing? Maybe.
thing, you know.
Yeah.
I guess the people pleasing part is at the sacrifice of yourself and maybe some
Uh-huh.
of your values.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
there's a value call on that. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? That's an
Yeah.
interesting one.
I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Leah's
Mhm.
family is all broken up. She's exhausted.
Oh, Leah.
Leah, I
Yeah.
had a brother that wasn't mad at me about politics, but did not talk to me for 14 years. That broke my heart. But
Oh.
in those 14 years, um, I did what I could and reach out, and he didn't reach out. But I finally had to say, okay, must be the way it's going to be. It's just the way it's
Yeah.
going to be. And at some point, we did come together and were able to talk and love each other for, I want to say, maybe 15 years, something like that, before he passed. And we didn't really talk about the space
Yeah, in
between
between.
we didn't. But at the
Yeah.
end,
Mhm.
we did really love each other and talk to each other an awful lot. And
Oh,
I
that's
believe
good.
that it was healed. I believe it was. I
Oh,
just do.
that's so
Yeah.
good.
I
Some
know.
people don't
I know.
get that beautiful closure though, Allie, and I'm so
I
grateful
know.
for you.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
so
Yeah.
Leah, you know what? Man, I feel that because I've got a family kind of in a similar state. So for me, how I've navigated that space is by loving the people that may not be biologically related to me, like my family,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the family members that are unwell. Like I have a really unwell mentally family member. I've got
Uh-huh.
two of them actually. Um, that I have to create boundaries for me to be sane
Yeah. This for
and
you,
for
not for
my
them.
family. Yeah.
Yes.
Because if
Yeah.
I'm not there and put together for me, I can't be
Yeah.
there for my husband and my children and my friends, you know?
That's right.
So you've got
That's
to
right.
be, no matter what, take care of you first. And
Mhm.
then however that looks for you in your context, I know it will be better. I just know it. So you'll be all
And we
right.
grew up
Yeah.
with, at least in my generation, and you're younger than me, but we grew up where, we didn't, we didn't
Mhm.
our feelings, we just sort of were
Oh, they
supposed
weren't
to yeah,
acceptable. I
they
remember
weren't.
telling my
Yeah.
dad I loved him in person. Wasn't wait
Uh-huh.
until much later. And like with my
Yeah.
kids, we're telling each other we love you,
All
since
the
they can't
time.
even talk.
Yeah.
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 My dad
Mhm.
was just
Mm.
really old school, and he
Uh-huh.
was taught, that whole kind of. He was a very loving, gentle energy father,
Yeah.
but he also was a stalwart and very quiet. And I think that that's what ended up somehow transmuting in his body, and that's how he got sick in his stomach because he was
Of
stomaching
course.
everything.
Of course.
And that's
Yeah.
how he
Yeah.
passed away was
So we
pancreatic
really do
cancer.
need to
Yeah.
it's I know what it was that I wanted to say too is
Mhm.
you're being selfish because you're worried about yourself and your health and stuff. No, there's
Yeah.
nothing selfish about that, but that's what we were
Yeah.
told. But there's
Yes, I
nothing selfish
know.
about it. It's not like
Yes.
you're saying, I got $300 for the family, but I'm going to keep it because I need
Yeah.
it. It's like that, So,
Yeah.
Mary, I love that. Have the conversation about topics you cannot talk about and nod and smile. If you can do it, Mary, God bless you. I almost want to grit my teeth when they bring up stuff like that, but
Oh,
that's
same with
awesome of you.
me. It's
Yeah.
an unwritten rule in terms of my family environment. I cannot, without
Uh-huh. Yep.
leaving,
Yep.
have a
Yep.
discussion of politics in my family. I, you know,
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
biological
Yeah.
family. But in my family here in New Zealand, we talk about stuff all the time. So it's
Everything.
just different.
Yeah, my kids
Yeah.
and I do too.
Yeah.
They may not agree with me, but we talk about it and we have fun with it.
Mhm.
We have
Yeah.
banter about it.
Yeah.
Boundaries were foreign to Cheryl as well. So yeah. And Leah, you don't have to. You don't have to. I was when I was living in Kentucky with my husband's family for a while. Um, there were no boundaries. My mother-in-law did not set a boundary for anybody, and people would just come into the house. I'm talking about her grandkids and stuff, but still, no knocking.
Okay.
Bust into the house, go into the kitchen, open up the refrigerator, and start making bacon and eggs, and making all the dirty dishes and putting them in the sink, and then driving off. And my mother-in-law was on a fixed income, and I got really upset. And she didn't like that I got upset about it. But I can't
Oh,
have people bursting into my house with all the heavy duty drama. And I'm a person that's I
yeah.
like
You
a
need your
quiet
space.
life. I like a
Same.
quiet life. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I was actually My husband and I, for a variety of reasons, we love fishing where we are, right? But we haven't been able
Uh-huh.
to because of his knees, and they're better, much better now. But we were just saying, let's just go and be out at sea and not talk.
You
Just
know
sitting,
you're comfortable with somebody if you can sit quietly and read and you don't say a
yeah,
word to each other for hours. You know that you're okay. I
yeah.
know.
But we
I
were
know.
just like, just to sit and feel the
Yeah.
breeze on our face, just to look at the clouds and
Yeah.
look at the water and just be grateful to be present.
Absolutely.
And it's
People don't
really
do that.
hard to do that.
It
I
is.
think
Yeah.
the Great Awakening started a lot for a lot of people during COVID because they were forced into just,
Yes, they were.
you
Yeah. And a
know,
lot
I
of them
mean,
didn't succeed very well. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, it
They
was
had a
hard for
really
some
hard
people,
time.
but
Yeah.
good to 'em.
I just want to say happy birthday, Kiba Lyons.
Yay! Happy
Yay
birthday!
for
Happy
you.
birthday!
Yeah.
Woo!
Have
Happy
a
birthday, Bill.
wonderful day, Kiba. Yeah. Liz, I understand why a lot of people had to cut off some of the brainwashing.
Yeah,
They really did. You asked your guides
yeah.
to forgive you not for not knowing them, but I know they're around and I appreciate them. Oh,
Oh, that's
they love
sweet.
you, Aaliyah. You know that, girl. Yeah. Your
Mhm.
guides are
Yeah.
right there with you.
Celtic Seer has a question somewhere. Oh, has
Okay.
he? Yeah.
Mary first says, some of the not talk about it will go with the flow, helped Hitler and his cronies. You're absolutely right.
Well, because of
Yeah.
and then it's like that whole frog in the pot of boiling water. You know, if you try to throw a
Hmm.
frog into boiling water, he'll jump out. But if you put him
Yes,
in cold water and bring it to a boil, he'll stay there and he won't know it's too hot and he can't get out.
that's right. Well, it fell
That's
into
that.
one of those little tree frogs fell into my hot tub, which is 100 and something degrees.
Oh,
And before I could even get to it, it was dead because of the
gone. Yeah.
warmth. And I felt really awful about it. But you're right. The frogs
Yeah.
don't have any idea. Yeah, they don't have,
No.
they don't,
And
no.
so we're kind of like a big frog colony
Ribbit.
in a big old pond called Earth.
Yeah.
And anyway,
Yeah.
never mind.
And Leah, I have to tell you, I don't like politics really either. However, I've
No.
realized over the last few years that
Mhm.
politics really is everything. And the reason it is because
Mhm.
it tells us how we're going to live, where we're going to live, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. And so I used to just say I don't want to hear anything about it, but unfortunately, I think I have to hear about it. Not every
Yeah.
day, not the way he does it, but yeah. I
Yeah.
think you're right, Celtic. Is this what you were asking? We're being given an opportunity to talk about what happened on the political front and what your priorities are.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Well,
That's
that's the thing too, and the media sources are equally guilty because they like.
yes, they
I
are.
mean, just compare the like when Walter Cronkite days,
Oh
okay,
yeah, where he would just
versus
give you the news, not tell you what he thought about it. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But
I will
things
say that I heard the
just
Mycellus brothers on their show Midas Touch.
oh, they're great.
They have more viewers than Fox News does.
Yeah. Yep. And same with
Yeah,
okay, dare I
yeah,
say Joe R. He
yes.
has that's why
Uh-huh.
he had guests from everywhere because that is a bigger platform. So I heard a
Mhm.
really cogent, really good observation that the
Uh-huh.
last election was the election about podcasts. And the one prior to that was the election about Facebook and those types of media. So
Okay.
they've
Yeah.
evolved where
Yes.
they target their advertising or their campaign money
Yeah.
or whatever.
And that's what he did with Joe Rogan and
Yeah,
yeah.
he
And
didn't want to
Joe
talk to
never
Joe.
used to be Joe was not like this in the past. He changed. A lot of people changed over. They're
Yeah,
like
they changed over time.
following the
Yeah,
leader. Yeah. All
yeah,
right. So here's the
yeah,
question. Why has politics become so divisive and what is the current agenda? These strangers are pushing their way into your space and dictating your actions based on their norms, not you. Absolutely.
yeah. Why?
It's, I mean, you think about Roe v. Wade.
Oh God.
When those Supreme Court justices were interviewed, they said that's the law of the land. That's the law of the land. We're not going to change it. And then they get in, they change it.
Yeah.
So lying is actually the agenda of the day. Let's see if I can ever think of
Money and
anything
greed.
to say that is true. And I read that that's what the Nazi regime did. They would say things, even small things like, let's see, we can't have the mail come because all the trucks are broken down, but we don't want our people to know that the trucks are broken down, so we're just going to say we can't have mail today because it's a holiday. It's just, yeah, it's like, why can't you say what it is? I don't know. Mm-hmm.
It used to be conservative. Yeah. Okay. You're right, Mary Thornberry. It was I think Irish Granny Helen covered one of that book that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Or it's actually about her dad. The author describes about the brainwashing of her dad because he watched more than like 7 minutes of a particular news channel over time,
Yep.
and it
Over time.
what's the word called? Radicalized him.
Yeah. Well, yes. Repetition.
Yeah.
Repetition sells. They
becomes
just keep
your
saying the
belief.
same thing.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
believe it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep.
There's
And
a
you're right.
really, yeah.
You're right. And now Elon and Donald have their own social medias, and they MSNBC is supposed to be up for sale, and Elon wants to buy it. So that would be state TV, if that's the case. And what
There are
does
some
that?
key voices you need to follow. Remember, you guys, whatever you decide and whatever your political leanings are, at least get 3 different sources. And it
Mhm.
probably won't be a mainstream TV show. It'll probably be, you'll find them and they'll have some kind of platform on the internet and you listen and you
Mhm.
look. I like
Yeah.
to, there's one that I really enjoy following. Her name's Ruth Ben-Ghiat. She's
Oh,
a
yes.
historian.
Yes.
And she's really done a lot of work about fascism and what that looks like. And she also has on what's it called? Oh dang it, I can't remember. It's a Substack. She has Substack
Yes.
articles. You can get freebie ones on Substack, and those are kind of teaser articles for the ones that are really that you have to go behind a paywall for. But man, she's got some good writing. Same with Greg Olear. Really, really good.
Yep.
He
And
did the Dirty
there's
Rubles
more.
book. Yeah.
Yes. Ruth Ben-Ghiat wrote Strong Men, and there's this, and it talks about dictators, and
Yeah.
they have a type. Yeah, they definitely have a type. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they do. Well, absolutely. All you need to do is corral look at all the billionaires and all the white men that he's putting. By the way, today I read that the ambassador to France is to be his son-in-law's father, Kushner, and he's a felon. He's another felon. Yeah, he was in jail for a long time. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Hypnicity talked about the Native American people, the colonialization. We have that issue big time here because the English came and used New Zealand for farming. Australia was a penal colony, right? I mean, this is back in the day, right? So, so New Zealand was founded on a document that was a partnership between the indigenous peoples and the Maori and the British colonizers under Queen Victoria. So that document has been under legal dispute so much, but everywhere. It's just horrific. So Thanksgiving is a day of mourning for a lot of indigenous people stateside.
It should be here too. It's like Columbus Day. I will not ever say Columbus Day. It's Indigenous Persons Day, but really Thanksgiving is as well. It should be celebrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Sharon.
Hey, Sharon.
Nice to see you. Linda J. Gonzalez is here.
Yay, Linda. Mwah.
Yeah. So Celtic Seer, when Uranus goes into Gemini, massive changes, and even those in power will not be able to. When is that going to happen? Can you tell us? If you know, yeah, I would love to know.
Maybe that's a coronal mass ejection coming up because the sun's been acting up lately, and that does impact the energy of the earth.
That's very true. That's very, very true. Yeah. Yeah. Here's Cheryl says Truth and Reconciliation was a thing up here in Canada. She's in Canada over Indigenous. New Zealand did a haka. So great. I know. I love it when New Zealand does a haka.
It's a war. It's a war thing. And if you get invited to their reservation, they don't have reservations. They're called a marae. They welcome you, and there's a particular protocol, but they'll do that, and then a warrior will come up with his, big,
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. Anyway, they'll either lay down like an olive branch, or if they don't like you, they'll challenge you, and they'll, well, in the old days, kill you on the spot, kind of thing. Very,
Wow.
very warrior culture, very prideful, very strong, so beautiful, and like they're to our world view. I'm
Hmm.
still learning, but it's
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
beautiful. It's
It
community
is
based,
beautiful.
like
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
it's amazing.
It's an
Anyway,
expression of, it's a theatrical expression, but it's what I love about it is that it's tradition. It's, it's something carried down that, has been around forever
I
and ever.
think it touched on the power, the voice of the woman, and women coming into their own strength, and how they just won't put up with stuff. Hey,
I gotta
puppies.
shut the
Hi,
door.
puppies. That's okay. They're cute. But
Oh.
yeah, but remember that was a war dance in the parliament context. If you guys have seen the clip, you can look it up. There's a
Mhm.
woman, there's a bill, I don't know why, but it was saying everybody needs to be treated equally in terms of the government. But
Yep.
remember, the indigenous people were colonized out of their lands, and then, kept poor because they weren't educated, all kinds of
Yeah.
crazy. This is
Yeah.
oversimplification. It's very complex, very horrific history about how New Zealand came about to today. And there was a hikoi of 30. So you have to remember, New Zealand's small. We only have 5 million people, right? So
Mhm.
there was a hikoi, which is a protest march that came down from the South Island, people walking and gathering and
Okay.
showing up for Parliament down at the bottom of the North Island. And
Uh-huh.
that was a member of Parliament, so she was an elected official that
Yeah.
started the haka and ripped the bill in half and said it was like a protest. So it was a
Yeah.
protest thing that happened.
She's only 22, Linda says. That's
Yeah.
amazing. She's got a lot of moxie. That's great.
Oh
And
man,
full of
you
fire.
don't want
Yeah.
to mess with anybody. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some really
Yeah.
strong Kiwi women, let me tell you.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have,
Yeah.
all right. Celtic says we have, when Uranus goes into Gemini is in the summer of 2025 and heads in totally in early 2026.
Oh.
I wish it was like heading in early
Now
2025. But that's all right. I'll wait. Yeah. Oh,
I
look at,
have a Papua New Guinea man standing behind Papua New Guinea. He feels you need protection. Oh, yeah. Carolyn, thank you. He's actually buzzing me right now. Thank you.
oh,
Why does he want?
wow.
Why is he? I'm actually, my skin standing, the hair standing up on my arms and my face. So clearly there's somebody here. Can you
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
him why he's protecting me? I can feel it also on my face.
Oh,
That's how I can feel
that's
people.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been there to Papua New Guinea?
Papua New Guinea? No, I wanted to
No.
move there, but it's really, they still have tribes that will eat people there. So you got to be really
Oh
careful.
no.
Yeah.
I hope the
I
guy.
actually know, yeah, there was recently a pilot that was actually held by rebels, a Kiwi pilot by rebels there, and they're in the indigenous clothing with guns. It was crazy watching. Yeah.
Oh
It's
wow.
very wild
Wow.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Wow.
but
Well, we
yeah,
hope
there's
this man
yeah.
doesn't want to eat you.
No, I don't think so. If he's on the other side, it's just about protection. That's cool.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
about
for,
protection. Absolutely.
yeah.
That's really cool. I love it
Yeah.
when Carolyn's seen my brothers behind me an awful lot. So yeah, it's
Oh,
quite
neat.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so the other thing that Cheryl, this is interesting because this is what I think we're seeing. A lot of people were mad today with what I caught that Justin Trudeau went down to see him. But I know Justin Trudeau did not stay there, and he did not stay after he met with him to talk about tariffs. I think he's trying to educate him
Oh.
and say, if you do this, we do that. It's not really good for anybody. And so, I'm holding on to that. And of course, we have the president of Mexico is a female, and she's not putting up with any BS. And but I'm thinking about this a lot, Cheryl, because if in fact we do the things that I know I like and most people like: coffee, chocolate, computers, cars, things that we may not buy all the time, but that we'd like to know we can buy for a reasonable price, will be out of this world. I'm thinking, would you like a banana? They're $10. That. It reminds me of the Deutsche Marks during the war when they had to
they
bring
went to millions. The wheelbarrows full of
a
money
wheelbarrow
because
full of money to
it
get
was
a
useless.
loaf of bread. Yeah, because
Yeah, it was
everything becomes
crazy.
devalued. So yeah, I totally Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
Sharon.
that it fell on. Yes, Sharon, you're absolutely right. And oh yeah, he just wants to spiritually protect you, Carolyn says. That's awesome. I
That's
love that.
sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But I
I-
think the whole world is trying to, okay, we can't rely on others, so let's bring it all back to not, it's kind of an isolationist
Yeah.
way of thinking, but manufacture here, do everything here, we can take care of our own here kind of attitude,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not
Yeah.
sure is really a great way to move forward because we need each other in the world stage, I think.
Well, somebody said, and I read, and I wasn't there at this meeting, and I don't know what they talked about, but somebody said that um, Justin was going to target some of the businesses in the red states.
Oh,
And if that's true, because first of all, we California, Oregon, and Washington are all blue, and then over on the other side, New Hampshire and Maine and Massachusetts and New York and all that are blue, and so it's the middle of the country that he really that supposedly voted in him. So
okay.
yeah, it's like
Breathe.
pushback. Yeah, it's pushback. Huh?
You can always come to New Zealand and escape people if you want to. You can
Oh,
go to
don't
South
tempt
Island
me.
and hang
Yeah, don't tempt me. Yeah.
out.
It's interesting because I had a friend that lived in New Zealand, and he's my daughter's age. He's probably
Yeah.
47 or so, and he said that you can't get a job in New Zealand if you're over 40. It's really hard. And I thought, really? Do you feel like it?
It's really hard, and once you get a job, you got to try to stay in it as much as you can because, like, even universities, there's only a handful of universities, and a few of them
Yeah.
are in the Auckland area, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So you
Yep.
got to stay with what you can't. It's not as common to jump to other jobs as quickly.
As like we are
Maybe when
here.
you're younger, but yeah, you got to
Mhm.
kind of stay with what you got for as long as you
Yep.
can if it's a good,
That's true.
good
That's
deal.
true.
So,
Well,
yeah.
hi, Jen Bowles. It's nice to see you. I hope you're feeling good today. It's wonderful to have you here. What other problems are we going to solve today, Dr. Ann?
Well, first of all, know that the sun still comes up every day. The Earth revolves around, and we're in a part of our little solar system, so we're going to be fine. Whatever
Mhm.
happens that comes our way, humanity is pretty strong and survived a lot of stuff through
Yeah.
eons, so we'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Really,
Yeah.
and all I can think of is that I chose to come here. We all chose to come here, everybody. So
Yeah.
sorry. It was your choice. I
Yeah.
don't really assume he'll get his way, but Elon Musk is no good for him to have the things writing people's names down that he wants to go after. And he's not
And
even
publishing it.
he wants to be sort of the president, and
He's trying to be the cool Silicon Valley guy at the same time being this Uber dude that takes over the world. And I'm like, dude,
yeah,
just choose what you want. And also his energy is really it's really
dark, reptilian.
autism spectrum disorder kind of
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
continuum. But
Yeah.
the lack of emotional intelligence, and also the kind
Uh-huh.
of narcissistic feeling. I don't know. I haven't met the guy, but that's his vibe as
Yeah.
it comes across.
Well,
to
he's
me.
to me
Yeah.
feels reptilian. He feels really slimy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
interesting,
it's
Linda.
cold.
I did not know
Especially
that.
warm.
He
Yeah.
put the
Yeah.
tariffs on yogurt because 90% comes from one factory in
Oh.
Wisconsin from whence came Paul Ryan, I think, was the speaker or was he?
Oh,
Somebody
wow.
was. Okay.
Make your own
Okay.
yogurt. Get the yogurt kit at home and just make your own. You can do that here. It's a big thing here. But
Yeah.
I'm too lazy. I don't
And
have
it's
time.
okay with me if they but I'm also going to be boycotting. Not that I've always boycotted Walmart, actually. It's not one of my
Yeah.
favorite places, but now they've
Yeah.
dropped their DEI completely. So they don't give a shit about anybody. And they've always been that way. So they just, they just agreed to do it at the time, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Gosh,
Uh,
that's crazy.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah. Well, it's very interesting that yeah, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I think what's
Yeah.
really harmful is the fact that if you have an opinion that really targets and hurts a huge part of your population, then you might want to rethink why you're feeling the way you do. And but people who really need to examine that have no interest in examining that. And you can't make people examine something. I do it in college. There was a girl in my class, and she said, we were in a Zoom meeting, and she said, there's high school kids in this class, which there is. But if
Yeah.
you go to some of those classes, you are an adult. Even if you're 16, because you're taking college classes, you're not taking high school classes.
Yeah.
She was in her 30s, and she said, I don't think we should be talking about the sexuality of men and women and transgender and LGBTQ. And I said, I'm sorry, but no, this is acceptable, because what it is we can discuss the topic. It's a controversial topic to some people. But she was starting to say, in the Bible it says.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I was going to say. Is she part of a construct?
Yes.
Or a group or a system?
Correct.
Or, a kind of thinking that she was really
that this is wrong.
brought up in. Yeah.
I said, you can argue with reason in college classrooms. Arguing from a faith-based point of view is not academic. It's not academic to do that. Unless you're in a theology class or something, then it's perfectly acceptable,
Well, academia is all about observable, measurable things, right?
Yeah.
Which is why the whole woo-woo side of stuff is poo-pooed, because it's not part of the set of rules. It's called scientism. Science is actually kind of a type of religion, because it's only accepting of observable, measurable facts. And that started kind of developing during industrialism in that time. Before that, people would combine the spiritual with the science a lot. Like, Swedenborg, Edvard Swedenborg, the big Swedish industrialist, who is real sciencey. And he has like a suite of 30 books. He wrote volumes on this. A millionaire in Sweden, really great for Sweden. And he started writing about spirituality and industrialism, and he started to get poo-pooed by that society. And then,
happened to Darwin.
Yeah. And then it all, so we're still in that thinking, that compartmentalized thinking. But I disagree. I think we're a combination of so many things. And so many not yet understood things.
And I agree with you, Hypnicity. Children don't need to do that yet, of course, unless their parents decide that's what they want for them. And I remember when I had some kind, it wasn't about gender issues, but there was something in my family that my son was, how do you say it? Life, just like death.
Yeah.
He was dead, and he was 5. And I might not have brought it up, but it came up. And I had to, but it was one of those topics that we say, this is just for us to talk about at home,
Yes.
And so that way, but, I don't really think that, people are not sending their kids to school and having sex change operations in the school, which has been said. That you can't even get somebody to, sometimes they have to ask a parent if they can have a Band-Aid or a chapstick, or it's really, really, really bad. And when my daughter was in high school, she was a senior in high school in 1996, and she needed to take a Midol or some Tylenol or something.
Yeah.
And I got a call from them blasting me out for letting her have it in her purse. And she was 17, 18 years old. And I said, if she has it in her purse,
it's acceptable.
I know what's going on here. She doesn't feel good. Yeah. So I don't know. Everybody.
At least she set up at school. Most people would just stay home for ages.
I know that's true.
Now,
well, I had that argument with them too, because she missed the bus, had no way to get to school, so walked. And they said that she had detention for being late. And I said, she could have not even gone in, and I would have written a note.
Yeah, exactly.
I was so mad. I was. Yeah.
Sometimes these schools are quite arbitrary, and I guarantee everyone here, and this will impact people and mothers, and put a lot more. You're going to have a lot more stressed mothers, but a lot more in-home homeschooling. I think is going to grow even more.
Even
Traditionally, it's
more.
for people, yeah, and that puts a lot of stress on families, man.
It does. I homeschooled
On
my
top of
son. I
their
loved it. He was very
Yeah,
good. Some kids aren't good at that. They just can't do
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Mm.
there is a bad part of it, which is they don't get the interaction with other kids their age, which could be good. It could be bad. I mean, depending
Yeah,
on the situation. But it makes it hard because. But I used to say my child interacts with people of all ages, which would be something he would need to do in the real world, especially at work. You don't go to
yeah.
work with people of the same age. There's people younger than you and older than you, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And you
yeah,
need to learn how to engage
yeah.
with them and get along
Mhm,
regardless of your
mhm,
beliefs, and
mhm.
work and being out in the real world. I mean, schools are supposed to be microcosms of that, even though,
Yeah,
you're trying to
yeah.
teach them and that kind of stuff. But really, once you get in the real world, man, it's a whole different kettle of
It
fish.
is, it is. You can't tell your boss, "Well, I didn't do the project because, the dog ate
Yeah,
my homework," or whatever, yeah.
yeah.
Oh my.
Oh
Oh,
my
you had
gosh.
a second or third grade class. A father asked that I not discuss homosexuality, and I said I don't announce that I'm a heterosexual marriage, so I wouldn't probably talk about it. A homosexual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, and they do marry. They do push kids with ADHD. Yeah, they do.
Actually,
Absolutely.
knowing that I have a neurodiverse family, I've got two children. They both are impacted in different ways with just beautiful, creative,
Hmm.
amazing thinking, but also some challenges in other aspects, maybe some social, maybe just just draining their social battery too much. They just need a lot of alone time, whatever it is. But my
Hmm.
gosh, what a beautiful world we have with these people in it.
I know. I know.
And
Everybody, and
instead of looking at it as a problem,
they've been in
yeah,
our world for a long time, and we tried to shut them up, and that wasn't working either. We didn't
no,
know
and
why they were that way. Yeah.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
now that people are becoming more enlightened and realizing, hey,
Yeah.
I actually think we've got a new wave of really unique, great alternative thinkers coming out because we acknowledge it. We have more of the diagnostic means to see
I
them
hope so.
instead
Yeah.
of poo-pooing them. But
Yeah.
also, society needs to just be a little bit more welcoming,
Absolutely. Yeah.
because it's the stats are against those kids to get really good paying jobs compared to other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
statistically
Yeah.
speaking, but yeah, strawberry rhubarb, I bet. I'm sorry
Yeah.
that you had to go
Yeah.
through that stuff.
And when I lived in Texas, actually, I worked at a bookstore, and one of the guys that worked with me at night was a gay man who was married to a gay woman and was a teacher during the day, and she was a teacher during the day because
Oh,
they were afraid to come out, and that was 95. So,
oh my
you
gosh.
know,
Yeah.
people can't live their lives. I don't mean that people have to prance around and like just like Sharon said, she would not discuss either one, either this or that. And it's like, but why should you have to worry? You can't love who you love or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, love is love, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
awesome. Love is love. That's great,
Love is love. There you go.
Yeah,
Well, we
exactly.
love
What a
you
beautiful
all.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we love Dr. Ian. We love you all. Thank you for
That'd be
being
great.
with us today while we ramble.
Yeah.
Oh, you have another comment here, Sharon. I said
Uh-uh.
to this parent that I was in a homosexual marriage, and his mouth dropped to the floor because I'd already taught his daughter for a year. He really respected me. Okay, so he knew you didn't say anything. He would have
Okay.
known okay. Yeah. Wow.
People
Good
are
for you,
weird.
Sharon. Good
Yeah,
for
I'm
you.
sorry you had to
Yeah,
put up, but I'm
I
really
know.
glad you stood your ground, girlfriend.
I
You
am
you
too. I am too.
yeah.
Well,
So,
everybody have a beautiful weekend. Thank you, Dr. Ann. Up
yeah, thank
early
you,
in
Allie.
all from down under, and
You down? Yeah, a day ahead.
beautiful
I'm a
to
month
you.
ahead.
I know.
I just
Yeah.
want to say I love you
Just
guys tons. So awesome to see you. And,
yeah.
remember love is love. And we're going to just go out there in the world and just spread some love and joy, I reckon. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dr. Ann. We'll see you
Bye,
again soon.
everybody. Okay, for
Bye-bye.
sure. Bye.
Bye-bye.